Now we're going to transition into the segment you've all been waiting for.
Fan frustration.
Brad, you've alluded to what your fan frustration is going to be for this week. It's something schedule related, but, give us specifically that bothered you this week.
So we have the second toughest schedule in the NFL, according to last year's opponent's winning percentage, right next to the Patriots at about 533 or something ridiculous like that. And that's just so typical Jets bad luck, right? The tough schedule on the year that Darnold is supposed to blossom into the franchise quarterback that we drafted him to be. Second toughest in terms of winning percentage, as I said before. You play the Chiefs, you play the Niners, you play Seattle. And maybe it's a blessing in disguise because maybe this is optimal defensive matchups, not optimal defensive matchups, but great talent that Darnold will have to be tested against, and we can really see what we have. But at the same time, it's just obnoxiously bad luck because I was expecting maybe Darnold leads us to a 7-9, 8-8 season, but it seems extremely unlikely when the cards are stacked against us, and that's exactly what happened with this schedule release. It's just demoralizing. It's just demoralizing because you do so much right, and they've done so much wrong. But you drafted in the first round, even with the 11th pick, a player that will contribute tomorrow, right? A player that you needed in Mekhi Becton, left tackle, that will promote Sam Darnold's play. And now it doesn't really matter because how is Mekhi Becton going to do against Bosa? Yeah. He could be really good, but when you put him against Bosa, it's game over.
Especially in the rookie year, the transition's always a little rough.
Yeah, I have this just to piggyback off the Mekhi Becton thing. It's not really a fan frustration. Maybe it's a fan frustration about arrogance of the Jets. So I have two. If that's okay with you.
Go right ahead.
So I was talking to a friend of mine who knows a tremendous amount about the game. He actually played slot receiver at FIU, tried out for the Jets and the Giants. So I was talking to him about the state of the Jets, what they need to do. He's saying to me, this all stems from a Robbie Anderson discussion that we had. He thought that Robbie Anderson was a number one receiver. He's not, okay? The Jets need to do this, the Jets need to do that. It's not Anderson's fault. Their offensive line is terrible, and they didn't even address it in the offseason. And I said, Devon, what are you talking about? We just drafted Mekhi Becton. Guy's a refrigerator. What are you talking about? He's our left tackle. Calm down. Oh, Mekhi Becton's a bust. What are you talking about? I'm like, well, okay, 2 seconds ago, you didn't even know Mekhi Becton existed. Now you're saying he's a bust. That doesn't make any sense, Devon. You know so much about the game, more than me, but follow the Jets if you're going to talk about the Jets. Am I wrong? And he said that Mekhi Becton was a bust because he went to Louisville, which to me is puzzling because he thinks, okay, Louisville's a bad school, bad football program, so Mekhi Becton's no good. That's puzzling to me because the guy went to FIU. It's not like he went to Alabama, first of all. So I'm just going to say it. Second of all, the reigning MVP went to Louisville, right? Lamar Jackson, pretty sure. So
pretty positive.
So that's just two thoughts on that. So that's a double fan frustration, two for the price of one, fan arrogance, and also a bad draw on the schedule release.
Very, very nice. Nicely done. So now for mine, I'm going to talk about, like I said, a lot of the Allegiant Stadium, Vegas move, ticket sales, all of them are going to be in this one. And we're also going to talk about the Broncos in my fan frustration. Specifically, we're going to talk about Shelby Harris and his thoughts on his debut in Vegas. This is what he said to the Broncos country tonight. He said, "I don't think it's going to be the same. I don't see them having much of a hometown appeal. I feel like it's going to be more of a tourist thing, like, oh, we're in Vegas, let's go to a game." Okay. So yeah, that's what he had to say, and I'm going to use that as a springboard to talk about my fan frustration and just talk about the Raiders and their new stadium and their move in general. So my first thing is, I don't know if I don't like the comment that he made that it's just going to be a tourist thing. Oh, I'm in Vegas. Let's go to a game. Because that's not why you go to Vegas. I don't think that's why they're just not going to be like, oh, it's a Friday night. Let's go to a game. Also, I'm going to pull out some numbers.
Let's go.
So, almost instantly, once the schedule was released, tickets were sold out to Allegiant Stadium. They were sold out. People are, I don't know. I'm planning to go to if I'm buying a ticket, I'm planning to go to a football game. I'm not planning it because maybe I'll plan a Vegas trip around it, but I'm not going to be like, Vegas trip, let's see some activities to do. Let's go to a football game. So then obviously you could still get tickets from like the secondhand places like SeatGeek and all those places. And the average cost of those tickets are $600. That's first in the league for ticket prices. The second team that's under them is the Seahawks, and their average is $400. It's a $200 difference. So I don't know about you, Brad, but if I'm going to Vegas and just happening to go to a football game, I'm not paying that type of money.
All I could say is buy your tickets in advance, because you go to Vegas, intend to buy your ticket when you get there, and you play blackjack, all of a sudden you don't have any money for your ticket.
It just yes, but the comment didn't make any sense to me. That I get it's not like, the hometown appeal. Vegas is a very unique location. So like I don't think it has hometown appeal for anything. But you're forgetting who you're talking about. You're talking about Raider Nation. Raider Nation has not complained really about this move. It's obviously, not what they want. They prefer the team to be in Oakland, but they're not going to go to games. We have one of the most well-traveled fan bases in the country. And you just think that, people are just going to go for fun. And I get it. We have some, we have some games that are going to be touristy, it sounds like Tom Brady coming into Allegiant Stadium. You'd see Tom Brady and Gronk, see the new stadium. Vegas also, obviously, I'm not saying that it's not a poll, but I'm not saying it's the only one. And that, I just think, was a short-sighted comment. I just think my question at the bottom of this was, did you forget Raider Nation exists? I just don't see how. I mean, the ticket demands have been strong from a local and national standpoint, and it's not just going to be another thing. And the Las Vegas Knights, is it Knights? I don't know. Okay, thank you. The Knights.
It's actually not the Las Vegas Knights. It's the Vegas Golden Knights.
Okay, I'll erase this.
Get it right.
We just talked. Yeah, well, I need to. That's why I asked. All right, cutting all that out. Well, we can see the example in the Vegas Knights and how obviously it helped that they were really successful, but they garnered a following, and I don't think it's because it's like, I'm going to Vegas. Let's go to a hockey game. I just don't think that's how sports works, in my opinion, and I'm a little frustrated that Shelby Harris said this, and I hope that we do a lot of damage in the run game when we go play them, when he comes to play us. And it's like, and I hope he sees it's going to be amazing. Just looking at that stadium brings me so much joy. It's going to be the coolest thing to be inside and be with Raider Nation and just the home feelings that I'll have. Part of my fan frustration is also, I also have a twofold one, kind of. Obviously there's nothing that can be done. The quarantine, the uncertainty, we don't know if these games are actually going to be happening at this time, and if they are going to be happening at this time, if they're going to have fans. So I'm here trying to plan my life. It's the first year that they're playing Allegiant Stadium, and I think there's 3 games that they're playing in December when I'll be able to go at Allegiant Stadium, and then I think a couple in January when I will be available. And I have family in Vegas, so I'm trying to figure out my life in terms of when am I going to see this new stadium in season number 1. And it's a little hard when, ticket sales are kind of through the roof and we don't know how transportation worked. But shout out to Allegiant. I always take them when I'm traveling from Syracuse to Florida. Always use their airline, and they got me on a list. They sent me an email. Hey, the schedule's out. You want ticket deals? You want packages? You want all this? I go, of course. So I signed up for an email list. They're going to give me everything I need to make my dreams come true if we can have fans. But that's my fan frustration. It's nothing too major. It's more frustrated with another player, but do not underestimate the ability of Raider Nation and them showing up in Vegas. That's all I have to say. There you go, Shelby Harris. When you're listening to this, that's what I want you to hear.
Shots fired at Shelby Harris. Wow. Well, I'm excited for that game, that matchup, and see how the run game pans out against Shelby Harris.